Hi all, welcome back to the channel. And today in this video, we'll be covering assertion in Playwright. So Playwright has given us some inbuilt assertions that we can use in our script for asserting the expected behavior. So like in Selenium or any other automation tool, so I mean, specifically, I'm talking about Selenium because it's very popular, right? So in Selenium, we do not have any inbuilt assertions, right? So we have to use testng or JUnit assertions for validating any expected behavior, right? So, but Playwright, if you are using PyTest framework, then we have options like asserting element, like assert that I have already shown you, like in many previous video. So here in this I want to talk about this assertion thing that Playwright has given us. And if you see this PPT here, you can see how we have to use it. Like, so you have to use a keyword called expect, and then we have to use dot to have a URL, and then you can pass this URL, and you can give a timeout as well. So let me explain you in detail in the pie chart. Okay, and there is one unique thing about this assertion in Playwright that I will be also talking about, and which is not available if you are using one kind of, I mean, like PyTest assertions. Okay, now for, I mean, I'm not writing any script here. I already am reusing my previously written script where I'm not using, I have not used any assertions. Okay, so for example, this is one test that we have created long back, right? So it's test refresh Amazon. So where we are trying to reload it, and or reload means a refresh. So we want to refresh it, and we wanted to check like whether this URL, I mean, we wanted to check like whether the page got refreshed or not. Right now we have to validate it whether it's actually refreshed or not. So how do you confirm it? So what would be the actual behavior? So if you are creating, if you are refreshing a page, so it should be on the same URL. I mean, URL should be same, it should not be changed, right? If you refresh a page, so let's validate that here. So what we have to do, we have to use a keyword called expect. So here is the keyword expect, and make sure you have imported this expect keyword here as well. Okay, and inside that you have to pass the locator. So not always locator, because here we are using, here we do not have any locator, right? So you have to pass page then. Now if you click on, if you just press dot, then you have different options like to have title, to have URL. So here we are trying to validate the URL. So to have URL, and let's give one URL, call this one. Okay, so this is our expected URL. Okay, now if I run it, I'm not sure what would happen, but let's make it fail. Okay, for the first time I wanted to make it fail, so I'm just using https or something like that. So it's a wrong URL, right? Or we can write something like this, .com. Okay, so if we refresh it, we are expecting it should become .com. Okay, that's not the true, but just for, I wanted to make it fail, okay, so that I can see something. Okay, now let me run it. So it's taste refresh.com. Oh yeah, .py. Okay, so browser got launched, and Amazon.in also launched. Yeah, it got refreshed. I hope you noticed it. Now it should close, but it's waiting for something, right? Let's see. Okay, it closed, but it failed, and we know why it failed. Okay, so here it actually could not assert properly. So let's see something here. So it's giving you complete stack trace, like where it actually failed. So you can see the code also page.go to, and it exactly failed here, right? Now it's saying assertion error, page URL expected to be this one. So it should be amazon.com, but the actual was amazon.in. Okay, so it was a intentionally we failed it, right? So it's fine. But one more thing we noticed here, the call log, it's saying page assertions to have a URL with timeout 500 milliseconds. So what does it mean is like, it was waiting for the selectors. Okay, till I means sorry, it was not waiting for the selector. It was waiting for this URL to have. I mean, this it was trying to match the expected URL with the actual one, and it waited till 500 5000 millisecond. That means 5 seconds. So default timeout is 5 seconds. I mean, it will automatically wait until 5 seconds. Okay, after that it will fail if it is not matching with the expected behavior that we are mentioning. And if it is, let's say, the expected behavior got matched at zero point 0.5 milliseconds, then it will stop there. I mean, it will just pass to the next execution step. Okay, I hope you got it. Now let's make it correct. And now you might have a question. Okay, so you said like there is a default timeout. So can I change this default timeout? Let's say my application is taking more time and it's loading and loading, but it's more than 5 seconds. Okay, it's still loading because there is some maybe some reason it's taking more time to load the URL, and you have to still check it, right? So this in that case, what would you do? So in that case, let's say it's taking 10 seconds time. So let me show you. So you have to use this timeout thing. Timeout equals to, let's say you wanted to use 10 seconds. So you can change it to 5 seconds to 10 seconds. The default timeout would be now 10 seconds. Now, if I run it, it should pass. But for the next run, if I'm making it fail, I will show you. It will get changed to this timeout would be like 10 seconds. Okay. Now let's run it and make it pass. Okay, now it passed, right? So if you have not watched the previous video of the test refresh, okay, or reload, I will add it in the eye icon. If you click on the eye icon, you can see it. Okay. Also, I will add in the description if required. Okay. So next one, right? So next one, let's go to this window handling. So this is another video that this we have already discussed how to handle windows and tabs. So you can check those videos in my playlist. I will add in the eye icon. So okay, now okay, so let's see one thing here. We have not used any assertions, right? When we actually created that video. So we need some assertion because that's the main reason why we are automating it. So if we do not know whether the test got failed or not, then how do we verify it, right? So assertion is must for any test, and that's why we need it. Now let's add it here. Uh, where is that? Okay, so what it is actually doing, you might be confused if you have not seen it, right? So basically, it's going to this URL. So if I go to this URL, okay, so if you go to this URL, it's actually clicking on this page and it's opening a new window. We are just getting this text and just navigating back to this tab, something like that. I mean, we are doing very simple thing we are doing. Okay, so now here you can see we are printing this inner text, right? Now I want to validate whether this correct inner text is displayed or not. How do you validate it, right? So expect, I can write expect, and here I can add it this new window text, right? So new window text dot what is that? So to have a text. So it's very easy. You can just click on dot and you can see the suggestions and you can select whatever you need it. So for this one, we need it to have text. And what we have to do here, we have to mention the correct text, right? Expected text. So I'm writing test here because if it fails, we already know why it fails and it will show us the expected text. So let's run it now. And the file name is test window. Okay, test window handle 2. Yeah, this one. And I hope you are getting it, like PyTest minus is for output, and as I said, it is for like non-headless mode. So it's launching this URL. Now it should click on this click here button, and it should open a new tab. Now I think we are printing something. We're getting this value. Okay, so it failed, and we know it should fail actually. So it was expected for us. So as you can see, it's saying locator expected to have a text taste, and the actual value was new window. So that is why it failed, and its default timeout was 5 seconds. So the actual value is new window, so that's the one we need it here. Okay, so we have given it. So if I run it, it will obviously pass it. But before I run, I wanted to show one more thing, that is title one. So we can also validate the title using this thing. So let's copy this part, and or we do not need to copy it. So here expect uh, expect. So what we are expecting? We are expecting a page title, right? So we have to use page here. So expect page, and we have to use to have URL or to have title. So we are validating title here. So you will be title. And now see, there was two page, right? You have seen it. First page was the first tab, and it clicked on a link. It generated another tab, right? So this page one is the parent page or the first page it was referring, and the page one thing was referring to the next page. So these two have two different URL, I believe. Okay, so I think, yeah, these two have should have a two different URL. Two should have two different title. So what we can do, we can validate it here, like we can give some name like test one, and also let's copy it for the page one, and here is the page one. So and it should be test 2 or whatever, we'll get it. So it should print here, right? It's printing here, so from that we'll get it also. If it is failing here, I think it will not be executed, right? So we can validate that as well, whether this expect keyword is actually stopping our execution or not. So that also we can check it. So it's actually hard assertion as per my knowledge. And for soft assertion thing, I believe for Node.js thing, there is a soft assertion thing, but in Python, they have not yet introduced any soft assertion for Playwright Python. I have to check it again, but that's the last thing I know. Okay, so you can see it failed, and let's see why it failed. So you can see it's validating with test one, this part, right? And the page title expected to be this one, but the actual was this one, the intended. So this is the parent page, the first page that launched, and the second one should be here. You can see here. So the second one was this one, right? So the new window that we have opened in a next tab, in the next tab, right? So I'm copying it, new window, and adding it here. Okay, so let's run it. Now it should pass because we have correctly given the expected behaviors. And if you have not, so if you are have any doubt, like what we are doing here or how it is happening, this Windows handling or these things, so you can watch that video. So here it's saying no test ran. Uh-huh. Why is that so? Oh, okay, okay, got it. So strange. I mean, we should use. I mean, it worked with PyTest, but ideally it should. We should not use PyTest because it is not the PyTest script, right? So it is a Python script, and so I mean, it's fine. We are running it with PyTest as well, so we can anything you can try. So uh, I hope you got it. So yeah, so we have discussed about what are the things we have discussed. So we have discussed about to have URL and to have value, right? No, we have not discussed this one. So we discussed about this title one, right? Um, okay, now next go to another one, that is Angular dropdown. Okay, so here what we will be doing, let me remove it. So So here also same way we have this is another test we have created earlier for validating like Angular dropdown. So you can watch that video as well. I will add it in the icon. And here also we have not validated like so basically we selected one value in the dropdown, right? Now after selecting the value, we need to also verify whether that value is selected or not. I mean the value which you have selected, that should be selected there. You are visually seeing it, it's getting selected, but through automation also you need to validate it, right? So that we can usually do it using this expect keyword. So expect and the locator. So here the locator is this one, drop down, and dot, and you have to use to have value. So basically it's an input field where you are adding something, right? So you have to use to have value, and so this to have value thing will work for any input field. Okay, so if you have any input field like username and password, where you have to validate like whether that username is properly populated or not. Okay, so if you want to add assertion for that, you can do that as well using this to have value. Okay, and here you need to mention the level. So let's give a correct one for now. Okay, and let's check it. It should pass now. So we are giving the correct one, and let's run it now. Test Angular, right? Angular dropdown, and let's run it. Okay, so it failed because you could see like it was not loaded properly. So that is why it's not actually getting this. I think it's saying something. This drop down field is not there yet. So it's saying non-type object has no attribute locator. Okay, so what we can do here, we can try something like wait for, right? So we have already seen it in one of our previous video again. So drop down, uh, no, not this here. So no, one moment. So what we can do, um, try something here. I'm not sure whether it will work or not, but I want to try it. Just wait for. Okay, so let's give a wait for, and we can give a timeout as well. So let's give a timeout called 30 seconds, and let's run it. No, it didn't work. So basically what is happening, it's not able to find this locator. So basically it's not a correct website, right? It's not, I mean, not a website, it's just a editor kind of thing where we are writing code and it's showing some the same application there, right? So it's not ideal a website to test. So what I can do here, I just remove this part and I can add it hard coded sleep, right? So that is we can write page dot wait for timeout. So we can give a timeout of 15 seconds maybe. This is a hard coded timeout, so we wanted to just wait till the page is getting loaded properly. That's it. Yeah, now it's actually waiting. I mean, for 15 seconds, that hard coded wait we have given. Yeah, now it should work. Okay, so you can see it passed. So this assertion got executed and it passed. Okay, so moving forward, on the next one. So okay, so it was Angular dropdown route. Now might have a questions like what about this select dropdown? So select dropdown also will work. So for a what do you mean by select dropdown is where there is a select tag. Okay, so we have already discussed also in one of our previous videos, so you can watch that. And here also we have not added any assertions, so we can do that. So this is the text example. Here we have added a assertion, but here we didn't, right? So let's add it. Let's add here after selecting this India. Let's add it. So what you can try here, we can keep like expect, and the locator name is like this one. This is the locator, right? We are not creating any additional variable for that. You can do that, which is recommended also. But here for showing purpose, I'm showing you that. For demo purpose, I'm just showing you that. And you can see like it's having multiple suggestions. And now we need to find which one we will use. So here it's a select tag, and also it's kind of a field where we are adding a value, right? So we can try this to have value, and let's add a value called India. Okay, so if I use it, if I hit enter, no, not this one, test select drop down, right? Select drop down. Okay, let's see whether it works or not. So the URL got launched. Now here it should select the country. India is selected. Okay, okay, actually it's executing the next one as well. I should have used the method name that I forgot to use. So let's see what happened. Okay, so assertion got failed, and you can see the locator expected to have a value India. Okay, but there is assertion error. Why? So what was the actual, or what was the expected? So expected was India. So then what is the actual? Okay, you can see here the actual value is IN. Why it is happening here? Right. So let's see that. So here, if I select India, now it got selected, but the problem is you can see under the select tab there is options tag, right? And here you can see the values. So values for India is IN. Where is that? It should be down here. uh, yeah, here. So you can see this value is IN. So for this select thing, it's actually when we are saying like to have a value, it's actually validating with this value options. Okay, so we have to use IN instead of India. Okay, and let's say it's taking some more time to load or something like that, then you can use a timeout kind of thing that you already know. Okay, now you can I'm not sure exactly if uh, this text is not working, so we can try something like to have a text. Okay, in that case what is happening? So first let's run it and let's make it pass. So here I will be executing just one method, this one test example. So I can use double colon and then I can write this. So browser is launched and here, okay, so it passed, right? So it worked and it passed because here actually we are clearing the options also, right? So if you have not understood like why it's blank, so because we are clearing the options, that is why it happened like that. Okay, so I will add this video as well also for the select drop down thing in the eye icon. If you have not watched that, you can show you that you can watch it. Okay, so we have seen this thing and let's try one more thing like that to have text that also we can try. Uh, but actually I already tried it. So what happens like when you use this, let's say instead of this one to have text, and here if you write like India, then the problem would be like it will actually fetch all the text available in the drop down. Okay, so it's trying to validate this India thing. This is the expected value, but the actual they will say like they will get all the text items. So we can try it once again. We can try to execute it. So I'm not sure why. How, I mean, we have to try. We have to find it how we can validate a select drop down using the visible text, right? So that visible text options is I'm not sure if Playwright team has given us. Uh, so here you can see it's actually printing all the text that is available in the drop down, and it's trying to validate this India with those text. Okay, so it's not matching, right? Because these many text, it's not able to match it. So you can see like I mean, if there is any other thing we can try, right? So these are the things it is available. So what I'm thinking like if when we are selecting with the visible text, then you have to use this this attribute called level, right? So you have to use level keyword and then you have to use the name, uh, the value what you are selecting. So let's try that. So to have level, so there is no level, right? So it's not there. I will try to find it. If I get it anything, I will create a video on that as well. So for today, I think this is fine. But at least we have one way to do that, right? To validate the select options or where there is a select tag available. So we have covered like all those things like to have URL, to have value, also to have title and to have text. These four thing I think we have covered, right? And one more thing like there is one more options use we can try like not to have. So all those things I have discussed. Okay, so here we can try something like not to have URL as well. So for example, I'm just giving you example here. So here if I run like expect page and instead of, let me delete it, dot not to have URL, right? So here we can mention the URL that you are not expecting. Okay, so it's a kind of negative test. So for example, developer has made some changes and they have said like now it should not show the previous URL. Okay, you have to make sure the new URL is getting displayed. Now you have to add one negative test as well, right? So that it will not shows the previous URL. That's the um, acceptance criteria of your story. So that how do you validate it? So you can use this negative testing like not to have URL, and you can add something like whatever the URL. So let's say this is the previous URL that we are not expecting to show. Okay, so now actually um, we are not expecting to show this one. Okay, so So it's validating this. This is the expected one, and when currently you are getting this one, right? So it will not match. So not to have URL, so it will pass. But what I'm doing here, I'm just trying to make it IN. Okay, and I'm just giving one timeout. Just wanted to show you one more thing here. So this timeout thing, let's say I'm making it 10 instead of 10 seconds. Yeah, let's make it 10 seconds, and let's make it fail. So now it will fail, right? Because it will check like, okay, current URL is also amazon.in and the expected URL is also amazon.in. So it should not be correct because we have said like it should not be the same. It should not be this expected value which you are providing here. So we can run it now. So browser got launched. Okay, so now you can see the assertion error, and let's see what is happening here. So it's actually expecting assertion error page URL expected not to be amazon.in. Okay, it's not expecting this one amazon.in, so it was expecting not to be this one, but the actual value is the one that is here given. So that is why it's failing. I hope you got it what you have to do when you have to use this not to have thing. And also you can see the default timeout got changed to the 10 seconds, okay, from 5 seconds. And we can now make it correct. So let's say, I mean it's already correct, so we do not need this one. So I'm just removing it. So if you are giving some different value here, I mean which the old value, so that the current value is amazon.in, the old value, let's say it was amazon.com, so it should not display amazon.com, and in that case it will pass. So let's make it, I mean, why end this video with a fail test, right? So let's make it amazon.com, and let's make this test pass. Okay, now it passed. So hope you like this video, and if you have any doubt, please feel free to comment, and please like, share, and also subscribe to the channel and share with others. So I will add these things in the description of this video. um, have a good day. Bye.